What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Very important. This is the first one in about a week. On social media, sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by... that we're going to be covering out of the way. Let's have a look. We are joined by... Neil, 10th Man, the Adam Meakin, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, and Righteous Force. Welcome, one and all.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yay.
Yay.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome back.
Any evidence of a physical, geometric sphere edge that's a horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
There's never been a sighting of that curve of the Earth, ever.
Well, they say it's the horizon, eh?
Yeah, but when I had a boat and I was in the ocean, it was always horizontal. Obviously, part of the word horizon is in horizontal, so why wasn't it called curvatontal?
Yeah, it seems absurd when we look at it now that something which you can use a tool to establish horizontal to measure an angle as depicted on screen right now could be inferred to be the leading edge of a geometric sphere edge falling away from your position and the demarcation point for where it blocks things into the distance when you're actually utilizing it to establish level. Seems absurd, right?
Yeah, it does. But think about how easy it is to pre-assume you live on a ball, let alone all the other things they say, like spinning and all this stuff. But let's just say, just the presupposition that you live on the ball, and they use a flat horizon to say, well, everything past that is dropping over. When the Black Swan, based on their math, says it's got to be at 1.22 miles at a 1 foot observer height. I mean, come on. Why are people still not getting it?
Hello, guys.
Hello, Arwen.
Welcome back, Nathan.
Yeah, I want to ask everybody, there's loads of members and mods and all sorts of good folk that are always around right at the beginning of these shows. Please smash the share button. I know that you may do it regularly, but this more than ever needs to be shared out because there's been a gap between
I certainly shared the show on my live show, as in like, yeah, you're going live. So
well, yeah, you need to get the momentum. Yeah, exactly. You need to get the momentum back up if you've had a big gap, which is precisely what has happened. So yeah, 30 odd people in the live stream currently. If you can share the show right away, right at the beginning, it'd be great to get it up to 100 people straight away. That'd be wonderful. Let's do a bit more housekeeping. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
What's that?
No.
Okay. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
How can
it's over there. 3 AUs.
AUs is it? Go on, Neil. Go on. No, you go.
I want to know how a flat plane could be axial rotating. We're on a flat plane. We're not in a ball.
Axial rotation, as in rotating about an axis.
Yeah, we would have to be a spinning water ball for that to happen, right? We're on a flat Earth. Did you just say that?
Yeah, we're measuring it flat, and you can make derivations of that flat Earth measurement to give you some sphere Earth assumptions that obviously violate the measurements of it flat, like on screen now, when you're taking elevation angle measurements to 3 stars, and there's 90° at the base of each of them, then you're obviously utilizing that flat Earth measurement of an angle, an elevation angle, to derive things like R values, to infer sphericity for a sphere Earth, and therefore orbital motions for Earth to be falling around the sun, and all those sorts of nonsensical notions, Neil. But yes, Earth is measured flat.
Well, coincidentally, that last question you asked is basically the review video for today that Brian's Logic wanted us to do for a couple of weeks, and QE's also wanting to hear, measuring the distance to the sun.
Okay. Well, what we will cover before we get onto that video, which you have shown me, and I know who's made it, I don't know what the video is to ask one more question. Any evidence you can have gas pressure, that's the air that we're all breathing, for example, without a container?
One of the most simplest questions from the Flat Earth Debate Show. Everyone knows how to answer this one, and yet there's this glazed look in their eyes whenever I ask people that question, because the ramifications of it means everything, right? It's cog dis at its best.
You know, a Flat Earth show yesterday, Triggered Limey was trying to claim that there's a difference between pressurized gas and gas pressure. I don't see a difference. It's the same
You know who
darn
else
thing.
did that? Conspiracy Cats did that too. So Tommy, do you remember Tommy? He's a boxer. Now,
Sure.
Yeah.
I am gonna stereotype boxers to give an example of where Tommy is not like that. So Tommy's, do you remember Devil's Advocate when Al Pacino describes himself as being the hand up Mona Lisa's skirt? He's a surprise, right? Tommy's a bit like that. In many different respects. I don't know about his boxing prowess. I think I've seen one fight he had, really early fight, where he just knocked someone out with one punch. It was really amusing. But I don't know about his boxing prowess. But because he introduces himself as a boxer, or aspiring boxer, you immediately have a stereotype about what he's going to be and how he's going to be, right? Now, I say this without causing an offence to boxers. They're having their head smacked in quite a lot, right? So therefore, that might lead you to have certain assumptions about them. Let's just put it that way, right? Well, no. Tommy, the boxer, had a teacher, Conspiracy Cats, absolutely over a barrel simply by asking him about how you can have gas pressure without a container. And one of Conspiracy Cat's responses was to say, well, there's a difference between pressurized gas and gas pressure. So what? Gas that's been put under pressure versus gas that is under pressure. There's a difference, is there? No, there's not. They're exactly the same thing. Gas at pressure and pressurized gas, they're the same thing. Yeah? Like being submerged versus being underwater. They're very different things. Anyway, okay. Any more comments on this before we go on?
But wasn't Conspiracy Cats the guy that said without containment there could be no pressure?
Yeah, when giving an example.
The same guy?
Yeah, exactly. So he's got a balloon and he's giving an example of what actually it is to be at pressure. And it's the force exerted on the walls of the containment by the gases. That's what pressure is. So without the container, there can be no pressure. Anyway, let's move on. The reason I wanted that to be covered is because we're covering a Reds Rhetoric video today. So as always, share the algorithmic love with Reds. Let him know by way of algorithmic love from you and me to him, saying at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. We responded to your wonderful video. As always, try and keep it nice and clean, nice and polite, so that you don't end up getting your comment removed. But you can probably see, if you glance your way in the way of the live chat, if you are actually watching this live as we speak, that there is a link. So go and check out Reds Rhetoric's video. Leave him a comment that says at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And the idea would be, although typically this idea is postulated towards the higher echelons of the YouTube fraternity, this was also true for Reds Rhetoric if you're watching it after the fact. Which is to say, his link is in the chat, and I would hope that you would go and help him in the algorithm by leaving him a comment. In the vain hope that he'd do the same for me. Leave my link in his video were he to respond. So there you go. Go and leave some love for Reds. 10th, this is your choice of video. Maybe you can tell us why we've actually why we've got this.
It's actually
already.
It's actually Brian's choice. He had requested it a couple of weeks ago, and Huey got a wind of it and wanted it as well, I believe. He's going to cover it this week, maybe, I think. So since your computer problems are behind you, it's time for us to do it.
Okay, let's get into it then.
If you're on the Flat Earth debate side of Twitter, you may have seen a common Flat Earth claim that the sun is small, local, and definitely not 93 million miles away.
Okay, let's just start by taking an unusual stance, which is to say that I'm going to side with Reds. Now, if you are, I'm going to take his word for it in the Twitter sphere or whatever you call it, and you're out there claiming that the sun is local, then you're presumably in a position to come here and let us know how and why you claim that. That would be interesting to know, because of one of our housekeeping questions that we've been asking for years. So if you know that it's local, I mean, that's fascinating. I would also be intrigued by how they come to that assertion, Reds. So good on you for calling them. I would call them on that too.
And because these claims are everywhere, I decided to respond. So on September 22nd, 2022, I tackled the small and local part of that claim. I did this by tracking the sun all day long with a Nikon P1000. And of course, I was...
Hold on. To discredit it being local, which hasn't been proved, I mean, straight away, you did so well initially, Reds. So what you're saying is they, flat earthers who you have identified, with examples that you have cited, say it's local. Well, that's their burden, isn't it, Reds? But it seems you've fallen victim to a fallacy. So you are now exercising your right to go through with the burden of proof reversal fallacy that you've fallen victim to. You don't need to disprove a positive claim that they have a local sun they can measure. Just tell them to give you the measurements and laugh at them if they don't. What are you doing? Are you suggesting that by way of, hold on a second, is this going to turn into a false dichotomy where they say they can measure it, but I can film it with a camera? Yeah, that's not measuring it, Reds. Did you think that filming it with a little filter on your camera was a measurement? Do you not know what... Did you think this was a tape measure? This is called a camera. You don't seem to understand the difference between something that measures and something that takes pictures. Is it just me? Does he not know the difference between a measuring device and a camera?
using a solar filter during the observation. In short, my
Observation, that's right, not measurement.
observations showed that the angular size of the sun does
Sorry, angular size. So, thank you very much for the super chat. Just before I point out what angular size means. To Kostura? Have I said that right? Kotsura. Arwin. How would you say that? I don't know. I would say, Arwin, you there? No, clearly not. Thank you very much for the super chat. He says, good show. Well, I appreciate it. It's been mostly me talking. So, I mean, what can I do? Great. Thank you for the compliment. Really appreciate all the support. Please smash the share button as well as the super chat. Just as important. Where are we at in terms of that? 70 people watching. Obviously, my call to action at the beginning of the show, people have taken heed as we're edging our way up to the 100 viewers I'm hoping for on this first day back after a long break. Okie dokie, let's get back on with it. Oh yeah, angular size, you say? So that would be the not actual size measurements then. Oh, I see. This isn't going to give you anything in terms of the size or distance, though, is it? This is angular size, not actual size.
does not change throughout the day.
Yeah, let's hear that in full. Oh dear.
Using a solar filter during the observation. In short, my observations showed that the angular size of the sun does not change throughout the day.
So the not actual size of the sun does not change in not actual size throughout the day. That's profound, Reds. You stupid numpty.
And this is a direct contradiction to the claim of a small and local sun.
Right,
Nathan,
how does it contradict a claim they haven't proven by burden of proof reversal fallacy you've fallen victim to? But furthermore, how does it prove your side of the false dichotomy you've now set up when your side has the not actual size of the sun not changing in not actual size as it moves from its, not actual position? Go on, Tenth.
yeah, two things. One, reminder, Godzilla gifted 5 memberships. I think you missed that. Someone just put that up in Master D. Just to give them
Credit where credit's due, indeed. Thank you very much indeed for gifting out those memberships. Thank you very much for the support. Enjoy the videos. There's a couple of members-only videos that haven't been published yet for obviously members only. So check those out if you've just been gifted a membership by Godzilla. And obviously thank you to Godzilla for gifting them.
Okay, second is what is he trying to say here about the sun and going away, not changing in size? Because obviously, depending on the weather and how dry it is, it does. I posted a video just now, Master D, 38 seconds long, where this not actual whole situation, and he's talking about filters and how he's proven something. But if you watch this video, something's happening there.
Well, I'll summarise what he's saying. He's saying, I had a little look at the sun, and the sun's not actual size didn't change in not actual size as it moved throughout the day. That's what he's saying so far. I mean, profound,
Right.
as I say. That's really interesting, Reds. We ever going to get to your little measurement there? Or is it just stacking up the false dichotomy so yours looks more likely? Seems so.
So can you play the video that I just posted and tell me what's happening there, Mr. Reds?
Is it another YouTube video? Do I need to queue it up?
No, it's a cop. It's like 38 seconds. It's already.
I can't.
Ready to go.
It doesn't. I can't. There's a problem. My Skype isn't recognising. Sorry.
No problem.
Hold on a second.
Well, someone took this video, and you could see with your own eyes what's happening. So I'm just trying to figure out what these people are trying to tell us.
When you say I can see what's happening, I don't know what the thing is. So when you say
That's
what's
what
happening,
I'm saying. That's why I want an explanation for it. It's like they're saying, he's saying he took it, he used filters, and it's the vanishing point. It's not getting any smaller, blah, blah, blah. I've seen the sun huge because of what's in that 10 degrees, 15 degrees above the horizon, where we know in the sex that they try to avoid because of all the stuff in the air, the magnification, all of that crazy stuff. So I've seen the sun do some crazy things. And here's a video that shows it doing another crazy thing. So that's all. I'm just letting the audience know that this guy isn't exactly sharing every bit of information about the sun.
because he doesn't know. I mean, if he gives it us, I'll say, great, here's his measurement. But he hasn't.
Additionally, this observation confirmed what we would expect to see from a sun at...
Hold on. It confirms what we would expect. Hold on a second. It sounds like you're trying to slip in a begging the question fallacy there, Reds. Tut, tut, tut. What we would expect. Let's see what you say we would expect. I mean, obviously, we would hope it's not based on an R assumption and an orbital mechanic assumption, because those sorts of assumptions would need to be validated before you assume them to tell us that that's what you're expecting to see. So you're expecting to see no change in the not actual size. How interesting.
At 93 million miles away.
Oh, really? 93 million miles? There's a problem, you see. So you're saying you'd expect it to be 93 million miles away? No, you've just had a little look at it, and it's not actual size. It doesn't change in not actual size throughout the day there, Reds? Where did you get this 93 million miles from? Oh, yeah, you got it from assuming Earth has a spherical radial value. and then plugging that into Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion, so that you can extract out, by way of Christian Huygens' assumption, that there are R values for the lights in the sky also, and those R values specifically for Venus are identical to the one you've assumed for Earth. Then you can get your 93 million mile distance through orbital assumptions. But we're not in orbits. You know, the stars are used to plot your position by their movement over the land. And in terms of what the sun does, it's the same. You can plot its GP position. Well, that means it's moving over different parts of the land. I know that for a fact. But that's where my knowledge ends. And so does yours. But what's that you've had a little look too, and it's 93 million miles? Because you've got an assumption that Earth is a sphere, it's orbiting around the sun because Kepler said so? Oh, really? Well, I don't assume that that's what we should expect when we see no difference in the not actual size, Reds. It's pathetic. Let's be honest.
That video will be linked down below if you care to learn the details. But let's be clear, that video did not feature a measurement of that
You're damn right it didn't.
93 million mile distance.
No, it's done by Christian Huygens, assuming that Venus had the same R value as Earth, so you could use Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion to scale all of the distances based on Earth having a radial value that's the same as Venus that was assumed to be in orbital motion by Kepler. That's where you get that from. There's no measurement ever. What are you talking about? Of course there isn't a measurement for it. It's what you've disclaimed, what you expected. No, you assumed you were in orbital motion. Like you assumed that Venus is the same size. It's just a load of assumptions, Reds. It's pathetic. Godzilla37 says, Reds watched your show, Nathan. It turns out you too are 93 million miles away. He knows this because he used his camera. Right on. What a numpty. Okay, Reds. No wonder we don't hear much from you.
It just confirmed that the model agreed with reality.
Oh, did it? It confirmed that all of those assumptions match with your not actual size not changing in not actual size throughout the day? It confirmed it, did it, Reds? Give yourself a lollipop, sunshine.
Given the observations made on that.
What of it's not actual size not changing? Wow. Just fantastic confirmation.
Model. What model?
Oh, the one I detailed with the assumptions in place from Huygens and Kepler and orbits and space.
That day. So yes, we debunked the small and local part.
No, you didn't debunk that either. It wasn't proven, though. You're just a numpty who doesn't understand when a false dichotomy's been presented to you by idiots on Twitter. You think you've got to go out defending their claim they haven't proven. You don't, numpty. Yeah? Me, I wouldn't need to make a 45-minute video on this subject. You say it's local, prove it. And when they fail, I laugh. Like I'm going to laugh at you, Reds. Yeah? You are a failure also. Having a little look at the sun doesn't confirm Kepler and Huygens. A 93 million mile distance is okay, sunshine. You'll need an R value measurement for that. And we've debunked where you get it for your model, haven't we, sunshine? That's why we don't see hide nor hair of you ever anymore. On this block. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's interesting he said that because the video I posted shows it does not actual size is changing. So there are days it does and there's days it doesn't. So again, he's not showing the other side of it.
Well, no, he's inferring that when he puts a solar filter on, he's got the actual size of the sun changing. When he disclaims he's taking an angular size measurement. So it's not actual size doesn't change, Reds? Are you dumb? Yes, you are.
Of the flat earth assertion conclusively.
Flat earth assertion. See, earlier I gave you credit to say where these numpties, the individuals on Twitter that you cited, were wrong and you needed to ask them for evidence. You didn't. You fell victim to their false dichotomy fallacy because you're a moron. However, that doesn't prove that flat earthers are wrong. I am a flat earther, Reds, and I'm humiliating you for your assumptions of R values that we can debunk when you claim to have measurements of them by way of Al-Biruni's dip to the horizon that's used to establish horizontal baselines. Hello? You haven't got an R value to make your 93 million mile, it's gonna match what I think it is, crap, when you have a look at not actual sizes not changing. Okay, Dumbo? I am a flat earther. Do not stereotype me with the other numpties on Twitter who say they know how far the sun is. They're as stupid as you are when you say it matches your model assumptions because you've had a little look at it. Okay, numpty? I'm a flat earther. Don't stereotype me.
But we only hinted that the sun was 93 million miles away.
No, hinted? No, you assumed it by way of Kepler's third law and Huygens' assumption of Venus as being Earth's twin. You didn't hint at it. You're a fundamentalist religious zealot. You just assumed it, you stupid idiot.
And if you thought that was a cliffhanger...
It wasn't a cliffhanger, it was a begging the question fallacy. You think the difference between cliffhanger, what happens at the end of EastEnders or Home and Away, is the same as you assuming everything that you're trying to prove? No, it's called begging the question, Reds. You might want to look that up.
So did I.
What, you thought it was a cliffhanger? Nah, I thought it was you just saying it matches my assumption of 93 million miles because I assumed it and then looked at it.
And so, back in December...
Hang on. Is he being funny here? Because I thought the official claim was that it was 93 million miles. Why is he dancing around that claim he should be standing behind?
Because he's thick. He thinks that looking at an actual size measurement not changing is proof of a 93 million mile assumption that he's made. Suddenly that's a cliffhanger to this clown.
December of 2022, I traveled to Denver, Colorado with a Meade LX200 telescope, while Astronomy Live remained in Florida with a Celestron Nexstar 11 telescope. Utilizing these telescopes and the distance between us, we
That'll be a distance along a flat baseline.
got some measurements that would allow us to find the distance to the sun.
Those measurements will be angle measurements off a flat Earth. Red Rhetoric's about to prove a flat Earth.
In this video, we will describe our methodology,
With a flat Earth, and a flat Earth baseline and an angle thereof.
list our measurements,
Of angles
go over the historical data used,
that proved the flat Earth historically and to this date.
and explain the math that
That uses flat Earth, because it's angle measurements off a flat baseline.
ties it all together.
Cool.
In addition, this data has been typed out in a master document, and you can find that document listed in the description.
Don't need it. People use celestial navigation and flat Earth elevation angles off flat baselines all day, every day. Don't need your crap, Dumbo. You think not actual size measurements not changing proves something? You think that proves 93 million miles? You think I want your master documents? No thanks. People save lives with a method of measuring Earth flat with angles like you're going to do. To make your little sphere assumption at the end. Yeah, people save lives with celestial navigation. It requires a flat Earth, Reds. Don't need your stupid shit.
I also want to make a quick note regarding the math in this video.
It'll need a flat Earth.
For this project, we decided to do all the calculations within multiple digital spreadsheets.
Fascinating.
This allowed us to more quickly and easily run through
I decided I was going to collate all of the data in Excel. It was really interesting.
You are boring as shit. Find a woman and get yourself laid, Reds. Yeah? No woman in your life? Excel taking the place of a sex life? I'm thinking yes.
all the calculations. It also made it easier to share our work with all
It made it really easy to package it up and then send it via email to other aspiring globe believers.
of you.
Is he gonna
So,
hang on?
all
Is he gonna share 90 degrees with everybody?
Let's
Is
hope
that where he's
so.
going?
Let's hope so we can rub it in his face. But our examples would be ones that saved lives, not red, stupid garbage that's still measured on a flat Earth.
spreadsheets mentioned in this video will be linked down below.
You can pick up the links to Red's video if you go and let him know. Be sure to let him know how thoroughly interested you are with his Excel spreadsheets. Say, Nathan sent me, I'm really interested in how you collated this data. Alternatively, if you've got a woman in your life, just go and give her a kiss. Just go and do that instead. Anyway, I've linked Red's video. Seriously, do let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me.
With that said, let's get started. Let's start with our home planet.
What, start by assuming Earth is spherical and calling it a planet? So you're just going to beg the question immediately? Let's start by assuming you're a rubber chicken. Why? Well, just no particular reason. Let's just assume, by way of starting point, that you are a giant man-shaped rubber chicken. There's no reason why, other than to beg the question that you're a chicken, because at the end of this, I'm going to declare that you are actually a man-sized rubber chicken. So it's far easier if I assume at the outset that you are, in fact, a rubber chicken shaped like a giant man. So if I assume it in the first instance, it's far easier to prove it at the end. So are we all clear when I conclude whatever Red Rhetoric says in between with therefore he is a man-sized rubber chicken, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do? Like, it's reasonable to assume we're on a planet like he's just done? Shout out to Kosura again. Be kind to a dumb animal. You've been watching QE. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. It is not Be Kind to Dumb Animal Week, as much as I appreciate your financial support. We will laugh at this nonsensical stupidity for as long as it continues. But thank you, I really do appreciate the super chat.
On January 8th, 2023, Astronomy Live made some observations using his Celestron Nexstar 11 telescope. While not the main purpose of his outing, he made some observations that evening that allowed him to find a value for the radius of the Earth.
You know when he set it up, did he have to level it? This telescope. He'd have to level it, wouldn't he? Hold on, I'm going to do a proper introduction. Wait for a moment for Brian's lines to all connect. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, everyone. How are things?
Excellent. Now we've just tipped over 100 viewers with you arriving. I'm pretty sure that's as a direct result of you. And only
We're about to see how a rubber chicken fouls up angles.
Indeed. Don't
That's
shoot the
a good
messenger.
one,
Just
Ted.
gives me €2. Thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. I want to do a proper introduction because this was Brian's suggestion. I gave credit to 10th earlier saying, well, this is your video. And he pointed out, actually, no, this is your suggestion. So without I haven't watched this yet. So no spoilers, but I can only imagine what's coming, Brian. Mike's all yours.
Yeah, well, actually, who actually sent it to me was Mitchell. So it's actually Mitchell who said this should be reviewed, if I remember correctly. And when I watched it, I had to totally agree with him. Yeah, this is excellent. This is Bojitsu Grandmaster 10th Dan Black Belt level. It's epic.
Bojitsu of the
Even
highest order.
QE says it.
I mean, on the one hand, I'm very pleased to hear it. On the other hand, while we've just hit 100 viewers and I am delighted about that, what I'm hearing is Red Rhetoric's video was shared by someone to Mitchell, and from Mitchell to you, and from you to 10th, and from 10th to me, and now to my wide audience. I mean, it would be wonderful if that was the general order of things with Flat Earth debate. You know, that would be fantastic. But, you know, you're telling me it's wonderful and it's fantastic and you've shared it and you've been shared it, and that's great for Reds. Obviously, I'll help Reds in the algorithmic love when I say go and let him know about Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, because his video's so damn popular. I mean, bloody hell, just for its popularity, I'm going to give it a like. But yeah, in all seriousness, do let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. How's the live stream looking, by the way? Just before Brian gives his summary and we move back on with this video. There's the link to Reds. It's going by now. How's the live stream looking? This is using all sorts of new hardware. Is it all looking good? Just let me know in the live stream chat. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Red Rhetoric's video is so good that I actually felt like going in and complimenting him. I'm not telling them why the compliment I was getting them. I was nearly going to go and say, if you look at the comments, the first one I saw, I think the pinned comment is for MC Toon. And I felt like giving them a compliment saying, this is an absolutely epic video, Reds, and leaving it at that. But I said I won't do that. But because it would be epic for the wrong reasons for him and Astronomy Live, let's just say.
This observation was featured in his video, Observing Earth's Axial Precession. A link to the full video will be posted down below, but let's take a look at the relevant section of that video so we can see what value he discovered for the radius of the Earth.
Hang on.
Hold on.
So,
Hold on. Why are we suggesting that Earth has a radius? I don't really follow. Where did that come from? Exactly.
yeah,
Why are we making...
yeah, he jumped. I'm sorry, he jumped a bunch of things. He's talking about this guy over there in Florida with his Celestron telescope looking at the stars. And the stars we know are moving. And then he jumps to an axial rotation of the Earth from that.
Yeah, well, he clearly doesn't want to, highlight the flat Earth headline too much. He's got to bury it a little bit.
Well, the whole point is if he just had lifted up a drone and let it hover and film with the drone, the stars would move, and would the Earth have axial rotation now, since it's not on the Earth anymore?
But okay, we haven't got there yet, but if that's what he now segues onto, I'm tempted to move past it, because, we'll deal with his elevation angle measurement rather than his axial rotation claim, if that's what he now jumps to.
No,
After
don't
all,
move past
that
anything.
nice big 11-inch
Go on.
Don't move past anything. Play the whole video from start to finish.
Hey, it's longer than this live show.
telescope that the Orion ST-80's been riding piggyback on has been doing a whole lot of nothing while I've been taking these pictures. But that telescope has some nice new electronics on it that allow us to measure the elevation of the North Celestial Pole. So let's take a look. For reference, here's the picture taken by the Orion ST-80 over 9.5 minutes while it was riding piggyback. We can see the North Celestial Pole is in the middle of the view. So what elevation is this over the horizon? According to the telescope's hand controller, it was...
What elevation is this above the horizon? So the angle above a flat baseline? You're measuring a flat Earth then to get this measurement? Astronomy Live.
Well, considering it's going to be somewhere between 0 and 90, I think he's on a flat plane.
Yeah. He's leveled his measuring device and now he's taking an angle with respect to the horizon or horizontal. So you're measuring this angle off a flat Earth, Astronomy Live. We've been asking for 2 straight years how you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved adjacent. Well, the angle you're about to detail definitely doesn't have a curved adjacent. This is a stone cold, flat Earth proof. Earth is required to be flat for Astronomy Live to give you this angle measurement. So, Astronomy Live, welcome to Flat Earth. You have proven for my audience that Earth is unequivocally measured flat.
pointing 27 degrees 7 minutes 11 seconds above the horizon.
Above the horizontal baseline, for that to be an angle. That's a flat Earth proof, my friend. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Due north 0 degrees azimuth. And for further confirmation, the hand controller also reported that it was pointing 90 degrees positive declination at the North Celestial Pole, which is what we saw in the photo. I then drove 3 miles due south and stopped at a second location to set up the telescope once more.
On a flat Earth? So you're going to level your telescope and you're going to use it to acquire an angle again off a flat baseline. So you're going to do it twice? You're going to prove Earth is measured flat twice? Okay.
I leveled the telescope and set it...
You leveled it? Not on a curve you didn't, my friend. There is no level on a curve. You won't be leveling your telescope if it's a curved surface. Meanwhile, you're taking angles after leveling it. So you're proving Earth is flat then?
up once again and pointed it at positive 90 degrees declination.
That would be a flat Earth angle measurement that you've just taken. So that's twice. Twice.
How can you
Go on.
I'm sorry. How can you have a positive 90-degree angle declination on the curved surface?
You can't. As I just stated, it requires Earth to be flat in order to get this measurement. It's a prerequisite that Earth is flat. And he's just proven it. Well done, Astronomy Live. You've done a great job of proving how elevation angle measurements prove Earth is measured flat. And then you've gone out and measured it that way. Well done. This methodology of taking angles off a flat baseline is used to save people's lives at sea. It's called celestial navigation. You acquire a horizontal baseline and a star so you can have an angle. And with 3 of them, you can acquire 3 areas of, quote, equal elevation. That's tens of thousands of square miles in all directions from your measuring point, with flat baselines to all of them. That's a flat Earth saving people's lives on a daily basis with this exact same flat Earth required methodology that Astronomy Live is using. Props to you. Well done, sunshine. You're measuring Earth as a flat plane. Another shout out to Costura. Nathan and crew, love your work. Where is QE? He's probably snoozing. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support.
Do they know the damage? Do they know the damage that was just caused here? Because he's in Florida, so he's got his zenith 90. Polaris is where it's at, and it's got its 90. And the distance in between of the 2 GPs have to be flat. Does he know what he just did?
No, none of them do. They're too stupid. They think false dichotomies and burden of proof reversal fallacies prove distance isn't local, or prove 93 million mile assumption with Kepler and Huygens. These people are stupid religious fundamentalist zealots who measure Earth flat to infer they can get a radius from it. They're stupid at a fundamental level. Shout out to Godzilla37. Today's show brought to you by the generosity of Kotsura. Indeedy. Thank you for the super chat to affirm the generosity of another super chatter, Godzilla. Really appreciate your support also. Go ahead.
I was going to say, is anyone keeping a record of how many times he either utilizes or invokes a flat Earth to make a claim?
Maybe someone would like to go through it, timestamp every time he measures a flat Earth. Me, I'll just point it out on the fly.
Refractive curvature, he's mentioned elevation angles, he's mentioned 90, he's mentioned leveling the telescope. He's obviously implied zenith, which is the 90. So, yeah, several times already.
Yeah, the telescope's level.
Yeah, I was thinking
with the horizontal line he's measuring out to give him the angle that he gave you. Well, the telescope's level with that. We're all clear. He made it absolutely explicit. Telescope level, flat line for the angle, flat Earth required. It's just that simple. Oh, John.
Oh, I was going to say with the telescope, he invoked it twice because he invoked level. Then he also invoked the equatorial plane. He's talking about elevation angles to Polaris for its.
I'm going to do a quick call to action.
rotate.
Just 1 second, Brian. Indeedy, yes, he's invoked it 3 times in separate instances, probably on more than one occasion for each. But 108 people watching, and I want to do another call to action now that there are over 100 people watching. So this is the first day back after a long 9 months of problems and a long week of resolving them. But now that we are back and everything seems to be functioning beautifully, please share the show. I know that there's 105, 106 people, fluctuating because all of the regulars right at the beginning of the show had this same call to action and have shared the show, smashed it out, got it out there and got it over 100. It'd be great to increase that before we are up with the live hour that we typically have. So please share the show. Also, obviously, there are over 100 people watching, so a very warm welcome to all of you who've just joined us. The only reason you're here is because you probably clicked the share button or clicked the share link that someone smashed. So yeah, please return the favour, pay it forward, smash that share button. Let's get up to 150. Why not? Go ahead, Brian. Sorry to keep you on hold.
Yeah, what he's done so far, Astronomy Live, is he's taken 2 flat Earth measurements 3 miles apart. Now, wait for the next part for how he comes up with a radius.
Okay, I mean, we will, but I don't care. At this point, whatever he does from here forth with his flat Earth measurements is irrelevant.
Facing the North Celestial Pole to take another 9.5-minute image. We see once again that the telescope is pointed at the North Celestial Pole, with the stars tracing circles concentrically around that point. The telescope now reports that it's pointing at an altitude over the horizon of 27 degrees, 4 minutes, 35 seconds.
A flat Earth measurement. So we're measuring Earth as flat to give us these degrees. Okay? So once we've taken these flat Earth measurements, once we've got all of these measurements off a flat Earth that has a prerequisite that Earth is flat for you to measure it that way, we'll go forth and use these for our values, will we? Okay, I see.
Converting these readings to decimal.
That's a very interesting drawing of angle measurements along a flat baseline So this is scaled equivalent to what you're describing, is it? Earth's flat then, like described in this Muppet Vision diagram. Yeah, that's a flat Earth. There's no curve to it. Earth is flat. Here's Astronomy Live making it absolutely explicitly clear so there is no doubt in your mind how we are measuring Earth. Here is his telescope on the ground. Here is the other telescope on the ground. Remember when he said he leveled the telescope? Yeah, they're both level with each other and level with the GP. So we have a flat Earth prerequisite being measured and proven by Astronomy Live. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Degrees, we find that little dot in the North Celestial Pole was 27.11972 degrees above the horizon at our first location and 27.07639 degrees above the second location 3 miles
proving beyond all doubt that Earth is flat.
south. On a globe Earth, these results make
Sorry, on a globe Earth, they weren't. You see, what you've got on screen now does not match what you measured. What you've got now is no baseline. Neither of these two telescopes are level anymore, and neither of them will give you an angle because the baseline is now curved. This is how it's actually measured. It's an angle. One straight line meeting another straight line at a vertex point. That is an angle. This is not an angle. You can't have a laser to a non-level telescope with a curve beneath it and call it an angle, because it isn't. But what, on a globe Earth? On a globe Earth, it wouldn't be an angle, Dumbo.
Perfect sense. If we take
Nathan.
Yes.
Quickly. This, what I want to point out here is what he's doing here. This very thing is the exact thing that was hijacked and turned into a globe originally. He's measuring part of a longitude line between him and Polaris, because it was the flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris that is where all of the latitude and longitude comes from. It's all derived directly from that. So a star's position on Earth, its GP point, is only in reference to Polaris's GP. So what he's doing here is the original trick that they hijacked. He's ignoring all perspective and putting himself at the center, putting his measurement at the center of the globe and measuring an arc length. That's the exact
360
thing
degrees
that was
and
originally
divided
done.
by the difference in elevation that we observed to the North Celestial Pole and that faint little star.
The difference in elevation measured off a flat Earth, which, again, this isn't representative of. So that difference that you took earlier off a flat Earth
of 0.04333 degrees.
An angle measurement that's only acquirable if Earth is flat.
And then multiply this times 3 miles and divide it by 2 times pi.
Why?
Get a radius of Earth of 3,000.
Oh, to give you a radius that bastardizes a measurement into a non-angle? No, you took it off a flat Earth, my friend. Taking a no longer angle that you took off a flat Earth and describing how you'll get a radial value from it is absurd. You haven't proven a radius value with this. You've taken an angle and made it into a non-angle, curved baseline and all.
1,967 miles, within a few miles of the expected radius of the planet.
Expected? There's him doing it. Reds did it earlier. Sorry, where would you have this expectation? Maybe you could show us in advance what gave you that expectation. AKA begging the question fallacy based on an assumption. No, you're not. Your expectation's a fundamentalist religious belief because you haven't shown us why you have that expectation. You just have that expectation. And then you take angles that couldn't possibly give you a conversion to a radial value when they're no longer angles if you assume Earth's a sphere, and tell us that that's how you get your radial value. No, that's garbage.
So, Astronomy Live was able to measure out a value for the radius of the Earth.
No, he wasn't. He was able to measure elevation angles off a flat baseline, Red. So you're dumb? Did you not follow along with what he actually did? He measured Earth as flat, and then he decided that if those no longer angles were to give him no, you don't seem to be able to follow along with basic nonsense, because that's what you were just presented. I took the measurement he actually did before inferring that he could take that and do something mathematical with it. The measurement itself was of a flat Earth, Reds.
Earth, and that value came out to 6,384 kilometers.
And fascinating, with a flat Earth elevation angle measurement at its heart, I'm going to call this garbage.
This is the value we will use for...
Will it? You'll use that value that required a flat Earth to get it? That seems silly.
This video.
Why? So you're saying that your assumption that you're expecting is going to be used based on this that is done within the video? No, we're going to need some historical data for why you two fundamentalist religious zealots assume a radial value to begin with. You know, when you say things like, it's what we were expecting, yeah, we point out it's what you are begging the question of, and you're going to need to demonstrate why, as a fundy globe believer, you would expect that, especially when
Nathan,
the angles don't comport with it.
From space. What do you want? It's right on screen. It's a picture from space. There's your globe Earth.
I see. No, what we have on screen is a second law of thermodynamics violation. This is supposed to be high-pressure gas forming clouds in a dynamic pressurized system. Now, these clouds, we're going to say, although they're not specifically the gas, are a visual representation of what takes place in the air that we breathe at a high pressure. And this black area is claimed to be a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. Now, without any containment between the high-pressure gas and the low vacuum, the high-pressure gas would expand in all directions into this area of volume immediately. In fact, we would never have developed this gas pressure to begin with, because every single particle of gas that escaped the ground on this nonsensical ball that's been claimed to be proven with flat Earth angles would vacate the surface, enter the sky vacuum, and never return. So we would never develop gas pressure because the gas coming out of the ground would have nothing to press on, meaning we would never be alive in the first place breathing gas. Furthermore, to assert that we've already got gas pressure, not pressing on anything, and not following the second law of thermodynamics description of entropic effects, that would be gas-filling vacuums, is utterly absurd. His flat Earth angle measurements don't prove he's got a sphere Earth in a sky vacuum, and his bullshit picture of clouds next to 10 to the minus 17 torr black vacuum also doesn't prove that this is real, Arwin. Sorry, total fail.
No, but you know it's real because there's no stars, right? So that's how you know it's a real picture from space, because you don't see stars when you take a picture from Earth for some mysterious reason. But that's how you know it's real.
Let's talk about Kepler's third law.
The one I already covered earlier when I pointed out where your assumptions came from. Yeah, let's get into it.
Kepler's third law states that the square of the orbital period of an object...
Oh, why have we got orbital periods? I see. So the square of the I'm going to assume Earth's falling around the sun periods. Why would he assume that? So you're just going to tell us what he's assumed in terms of his orbital assumption I pointed out as you're begging the question fallacy, and just assert it from his own mouth? I see. No, he's going to need to prove what he just decided was true. I'm going to decide that Earth is falling around the sun. Okay. No, just having maths for your assumption doesn't make your assumption true.
Is proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis. Now, this may sound like a complicated principle.
No, it sounds like a begging the question fallacy. And I already preempted it when I talked about Kepler, didn't I? Yeah? I was way ahead of you when I pointed out how you begged the question with Kepler. And right on cue, here you are begging the question of an orbital motion with Kepler. Isn't it shocking how far in advance of you I am, Reds?
But it can be understood through...
Understood or proven to be true? Yeah, I can understand orbital motions and Kepler's third law in this instance, but it doesn't mean that the begging the question of Earth falling around the sun is true. It's just made up by Kepler.
Basic algebra.
You might
and
be,
to go over that
you
algebra,
might be meaning understanding in the legal context, not in the comprehension context, yeah? If you understand this, if you stand under it, if you agree to it, then here you go.
Then what? I get you to agree to stand under the notion of unicorns holding the world together. Therefore, it's true when I offer if p squared over unicorns cubed, then therefore the maths of unicorns' existence, if we assume unicorns, because Nathan's assumption of unicorns and the maths thereof are as follows when we assume unicorns. No.
So it's not going to win the argument, but it's going to trick people into subconsciously understanding, agreeing to the whole thing on a legal level.
I see.
Can we stop horsing around and get back to the show?
And to you, the one and only Marty Mir 81.
Okay, so a body in orbit.
I have a question about the orbital mechanics.
I have a question straight away. Why is it that now we are a body in orbit? Oh, it's because Kepler said so, and now this dude says so also, and we're going to start with that as our assumption, right? Okay, gentlemen, may I introduce you to the notion of begging the question? Go ahead, John.
Well, within the one of the equations that I'm looking at, it has angle of travel as the basis for orbital mechanics. Where are they getting the angle of travel from to assert orbital mechanics?
They don't. The angle of travel makes it sound like there's a distance capable of being ascribed within the third law of motion invented by Kepler. There isn't. So his saying distance is an inference because there's only scale, not distance.
No, angle of travel. They have to be, it's you gotta measure the
It's all coming up, John. It's all
That's
coming
literally
up.
by. No. Now that the penny's dropped, I'm not going to take that moment. I'll pretend the penny didn't just drop on me. What do you mean? I don't understand how relevant this angle being observed in the description of it traveling. I mean, maybe it's acquisition or something. I don't know how that's relevant, John.
Well, orbital mechanics are built on the necessity of Earth being flat. Just like their radius value uses measurements off a flat plane. Orbital mechanics has the same problem.
Yeah, it's all ahead of us, John. Don't worry.
It's derived from the celestial sphere that is measured over a flat plane. I mean, come on, give him a break.
Correct, but they're saying the motion of...
Oh,
No.
dear.
Let me just correct Darwin, because it's subtle. The difference is subtle, but it's a difference. No, that's the system in its development. What John's saying is the actual orbital motion itself can be measured and must be measured for Kepler's assertions. It's a description of the movement of the lights, but it's described with angles, right, John? Therefore, the motion in orbit itself is acquired to be described in an orbital motion by way of acquisition of elevation angle measurement off a flat plane. So the claim to be in a circle motion of an orbit is actually directly ascribable to the observation of its angle. Right, John?
Oh, dear.
Exactly what I just said, except more elaborate and technical.
Yeah, but there's a secondary part. It's that you must treat the Earth as stationary.
I'm
It's all ahead of us.
It's live show shortly. We're going to do two shows on Reds. We'll cover this again tomorrow because it's just too much to pack into one show. Go ahead, John. You've got something else you wanted to add?
Oh, wait. No, Right just wants to add something quick.
Go ahead.
And we also got Dell. So after we're done with the review video, Dell seems keen to participate on the show. I voice verified him, and I voice verified Dell, and he's a very nice person. So
All
I'll
right,
just add that too.
let's get it on.
Yeah, let's get some Narnia magic.
What's his screen name?
Planewalker, I think. Let me check. Yeah, Planewalker.
Friendly action, guys. Friendly action. Just remember that.
No,
I can't
I
see
like
him in
Del.
the-
I want
Is
to
he
hear what
actually-
he's got to say.
Hello?
But asking him to come.
Hello? Oh, yes, I do see him in the chat. Hello, Del.
Well, he's been here a while, so he might be AFK temporarily. Just
Fine.
so you guys know he's there, okay?
No worries. While we're live, I made an error in one of my assertions in one of the videos, which Brian pointed out to me right at the beginning of last week before the computer fell over. And I got to it in the middle of the week and said, look, just correct this on a live stream at some point. Now, although it's not directly, I can't remember what it was actually, but whatever it may be, I don't think it's necessarily going to be connected to Red Rhetoric. But I remember when I read it from Brian thinking that's a useful teaching tool to use on the show. So it was vaguely, I remember something in regards to me suggesting that a latitude grid wasn't... Go ahead, Brian. You can remember better than I.
Yeah, it's just because if you said it again afterwards or the second time, the ballers will give you head. You mixed up Cartesian coordinates with latitude and longitude. The latitude and longitude grid are what's known as polar coordinates. Right, so it works in lines from the center, which are longitude, and rings of circles, which is latitude. That's how polar coordinates work. Cartesian are in two-dimensional, are squares or rectangles, and they're both flat coordinates. So you weren't wrong when you were saying that, because they're both flat. There's no other way they're two-dimensional. They're both flat coordinates.
I know what I've said now. I said something along the lines of the latitude and longitude lines form a Cartesian grid system, which is incorrect.
No, they can form a Cartesian grid system because the polar and Cartesian, two-dimensional Cartesian, because polar is only two-dimensional because it's only latitude, longitude, or it's only lines from the center and circles. They work perfect together, right? But there's a difference. As I said, the polar coordinates involves lines from the center and circles. Cartesian is all squares. But the difference, the second difference in that is that Cartesian can be three-dimensional, which is why surveyors and GPS use it, is because it has elevations. There's no elevations with polar coordinates. So it's just if you continued saying that, someone's going to give you a hassle about it, and they're going to be making videos and trying to character assassinate you. When it's just a small thing that a lot of people would look past, but we know the people we deal with in our opposition won't look past that. And neither would maybe some other flat earthers who don't like it. They won't look past it. So It's important that the two of them are different, but they work perfectly together in two dimensions.
No, I get it. We are in a hyper-specific environment, and these sorts of things aren't embarrassing to me. But by the same token, they are useful education tools for people listening when they get explained, and you only learn by mistakes in these regards. I'm not infallible. Anyway, thank you for correcting me. I'd rather it went out to an audience than to me privately. I remember QE saying, because he used to do it as well, you'd put a correction into Skype and I'd immediately mention it on the live show, and he'd be like, no, I'm trying to subtly tell you that you've got something wrong. I'm like, I don't care. I'd rather, if I've got it wrong, that's potentially caused damage. If someone repeats it, better to just nip it in the bud and get it out there in case somebody starts repeating garbage that I've said that's wrong. And, I'm as guilty as anybody else. If I've listened reasonably well and then just put something together that's incorrect, I'd rather it was corrected. Anyway, I was going to end the live show, but if Dell's around, maybe we can get chatting to him on the live show. We'll see. What I intend to do now is nip off and do what I do at the end of the live show when I go into the after show. Maybe get a fresh drink and things like that. But I will stay live if you want to chat amongst yourselves. See if you can get Dell's attention while I get a coffee. Yeah, we'll all try and get his attention. Dell, you there?
Well, I was hoping he'd try. I hope he'd start talking.
But he'll be on if he's on.
Sure, but I'm willing to keep the live stream going because it's it's a good opportunity to have Dal on live if he's here. So if he's AFK at the moment, then fine. But I'll go and get myself a coffee if you guys can keep the conversation going, because it's obviously tantamount that you do if we are staying live. But I am thirsty.
Yeah, I will. I'll keep it going.
Good.
Yeah. The rest of this video, the Reds Rhetoric video, Reds Rhetoric video is very, very good, because I'm not going to give too much away because it'll be better on another live show, but they go into focusing on what we're focusing at the moment on. One of the things we're focusing on, which is astronomy, and they focus on how it's done, and we're preempting the whole thing, right? That's kind of like, it's kind of killing it in one way, but it's a good thing in another way. We're preempting all the things they're doing, but their premise at the end of how they came up with this distance to the sun, it's a whole new premise, a whole new way of doing it. Well, it's not a new way. They're not using Venus this time, let's just say. But they go through such circles of nonsense, and they prove it can't be flat, it can't be spherical and moving 100%. And then they say rotating orbiting globe Earth proven with distance to the sun, heliocentric model.
Hang on.
That's what they did.
Brian, are you saying they pull a NASA document flop? All these instruments, all these things work over a flat stationary Earth, one of those things?
They might as well pull one of those documents out, yeah. They might have as well have just pulled out one of those documents. Because I'm pretty sure Astronomy Live is an astronomer. So they might as well have just pulled out. I mean, I think he might actually have a degree or whatever in astronomy. I don't think he's just some randomer. But it doesn't matter because he is using what they use in astronomy. He's doing exactly what they do in astronomy. I won't give it all away now because it'd be better if it happens live.
Yeah.
But he basically lays out exactly what we've been talking about with astronomy.
Well, we've documented, as you know, that even in celestial navigation, they got to assume the stars are moving and the Earth is stationary. So this thing keeps coming up from NASA, from celestial navigation. Now you're saying these guys. So you might as well just stop hiding the fact that the Earth is stationary and the stars are moving. Then why don't you just say it the way you're doing that?
But they can't.
I know.
Well, NASA can. NASA can say it because NASA knows they can BS their way out of it. Do you know what I mean? They can just throw out a document that says, yeah, everything's flat and stationary for everything we do, but it's still a rotating sphere. NASA can do that. Do you know what I mean? But people look past that because whoever saw any of the NASA documents talking about how they're testing their aerospace vehicles, let's just say, over a flat stationary plane. Whoever saw any of those documents until the topic of flat Earth turned up? Nobody.
Well, it goes into all the categories. Even Andrew Thomas Young says all of his refraction studies were done over a plane.
Yeah, everything is done over a plane. There's no other way to do it.
It's plain and simple. It's called plain and simple for a reason.
Is that why, Brian, the airplane is called airplane?
Well, I would suspect that, but I don't know for certain why it's called airplane, but I don't see why it wouldn't be called... Actually, it's funny you say that, because I remember hearing Red Rhetoric saying, I'm pretty sure it was Red Rhetoric, or maybe Fight the Flat Earth, saying, stupid flat earthers think airplanes are called... Oh, yeah, I think he said, stupid flat earthers think airplanes are called airplanes because they're flying over a plane. And he said something like, they're talking about the plane of the sphere. Right? Something like that. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure. Right. Pretty sure they're not talking about a plane of a sphere because you can't have a plane on a sphere. It's not possible.
Well, it would be called an atmosphere then, wouldn't it? And that's already taken. So it's an airplane or an atmosphere or an air sphere, you know?
It would be an air sphere. That's what they'd have to call it, an air sphere. Something that flies around the air of a sphere. That's what they'd have to call it if it was really flying around the air of a sphere. But airplanes can't. That's the problem. You know?
Or they'd have to call them orbiters.
For the plane, as you've documented yourself, for the plane to be flying horizontal plane, it's got to be 2 to 3 degrees nose up for it to be flying on that plane or that horizontal plane. So airplane, other than ascending and descending, obviously, once it's at level flight, it's flying on the plane horizontally.
Well, it's actually worse than that because that's the simplified version. But the even worse version is that what does the lift effect do? It opposes the weight. To oppose the full weight of the aircraft, you need 100% positive lift. Now, you can't have, regardless of the wing type, even a cambered wing, right? You can't have 100% positive lift with any below horizontal pitch. You can only have it with an above horizontal pitch, right? So they have to have an above horizontal pitch, and that amount of pitch depends on their airspeed, right? But that is only so they can fly horizontally. So the only way to oppose the weight is to have an above horizontal pitch, and the reason they have an above horizontal pitch opposing the weight is to fly horizontally. So when anyone brings up these stupid arguments, because I had a guy yesterday trying to deal with me, bring up arguments about how can flights from this place to this place happen on a flat earth or this nonsense. I don't know. I don't make any claims about any of these flights. I don't work within these airline companies. These are private companies that I can't verify exactly what they're saying. Won't give me information. Can't even get pitch data. You pitch data. You think that will be readily available for aircraft, commercial aircraft, but they won't give it to you. So I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what way they do it, or if they do it at all with some of these flights. Doesn't matter. I can prove how the airplane fly.
Say again, Del. Hold on, Brian. One
Sorry,
second.
can you hear me? Sorry. Fucking hell.
Yeah, we can.
I was waiting for an invite there. I didn't realise that the mic was on.
Hey, no worries.
You hear me?
We do.
Hey, nice one.
I'm in the bathroom.
Sorry?
I think original D Rose is off mute. You're off mute, D Rose.
Straight in the room. Yes. Yes, your room is good.
Yeah, that's okay. I can sort that problem. We hear you okay, Del?
Hello, Del.
Hey, can you hear me? Well, there seems to be.
Good to have you.
Crosswire.
Welcome.
Can you hear us?
I can hear. I'm not sure who's speaking to me. I'm just hearing voices coming randomly, so I'm just waiting. Like cams a wee bit.
No, we're waiting on you.
Oh, so you're waiting for me? Oh, fuck. I have the floor.
You do.
Cheers for having me on.
Pleasure.
Sorry? Hello?
We hear you, Del.
Make your case.
Okay, I'll get the ball rolling.
Sorry, are you waiting for me to say something? Right, I'm not sure how your format works, but anyhow, so I'm here obviously in regards to the latest, investigations that I've been partaking in. There's a couple of things I just want to get out the road first, right? First and foremost, I'm just a man that's objective. I don't have any, personal qualms with anybody here. I've said some things in the heat of the moment. People need to understand that I'm under constant attack and I don't know who to trust. There's loads of vicious play going on here. So I say things in the heat of the moment, and I've said some things about you, Nathan, which I'm going to apologise for right now. I should never be going to a subjective realm or attacking you at any personal level. Again, I don't know you on a personal level, but I say things and my tongue runs away with me sometimes. So hopefully you'll accept that apology before we move forward.
I don't care, but yes, fine. No worries.
No worries, Ray. It doesn't matter if you don't care. I'm just the man that I'm, and I'm going to own up to my mistakes, and I'm just going to say it right here and now. So anyhow, the whole investigation that's going on right now in regards to relative density disequilibrium, the vector that we have here on Earth, that being that we have a directionality to orientation, we have matter that assembles itself in a density gradient, and it's orientated in a particular direction. So my investigation started purely with the globe Earth claim. The globe Earth claim was that gravity was this force that pulled objects towards the Earth. That was their description or their explanation for the directional vector. Through my investigation, I uncovered certain things like there's no such thing as pull. So I'm just going to offer up for anybody to jump in while I'm saying these things. If anybody's got any questions or any doubts in regards to the claim that there's no such thing as a pulling force, then I would like to hear about it right now before I go any further.
Well, that's not a claim.
Well, no,
that's not a claim.
Sorry, what?
It's not a claim. If I say there's no such thing as unicorns, that's not a positive claim. It's for the person.
No, I mean,
it's for the person that's making. It's for the person that's making the positive claim to prove it. So if there's assertion that there's a downward bias, then that needs to be proven as a claim.
Downward bias? I don't see a downward bias. I'm saying that there's a directional vector. There's an orientation.
No, I don't mean you. Nathan doesn't mean you, Del. He's just talking about if someone makes a claim, it's only a claim. They have to be able to back it up. It doesn't mean anything if they can't back it up. So let's just take gravity as a force.
So you comprehend then that there's no such thing as a pulling force?
Yeah,
Well, no.
it's
Hold
proven
on.
by gas.
Hold on. There are such things as pulling forces, though.
Can you offer me one?
Well, I'm not making any claim in this regard, but there are things that pull that have force to them.
Oh, you said that there's such a thing as a pulling force. That's a positive claim, Nathan. So
Yeah,
I'm
like a
asking for
horse
that.
pulling a cart. That's a pulling force, isn't it?
I'm sorry, let me clarify. I'm talking in regards to mechanisms of motion. I'm talking about physics. I'm not talking about, relative descriptors of a situation, like, a horse pulling a cart, that being that the cart goes along the direction of the horse. I'm talking about the connection between the horse and the cart, with that being that it's a pressure mechanism. So pull is used as a descriptor of a relative motion towards something or away from something, push and pull. But in physical terms, I'm talking about the mechanism of what creates a motion. So there is no such thing as pull being a cause of motion.
Okay, that's very interesting. Just one question. Why?
Yep.
Why are we doing this exactly? What's this proving?
Oh, no, it's just I'm just laying out my investigation. Obviously,
Why?
I'm going to get to the point because
Maybe my question's not clear. What is the investigation? What are you investigating?
Claims of directional vector, density gradients, why things go the way they go, things go up, things go down, and the cause of these things. So in the globe Earth, we've got gravity, and then we've got flat earthers that are claiming relative density disequilibrium.
No, that's a false dichotomy. It's not an opposite claim. I've already covered this, when somebody makes a positive claim that you've got a gravity force pulling things down, that's for them to prove. When you say, but flat earthers say there's relative, no, that's not a juxtaposition. There's nothing being proven when you just point out that relative density disequilibrium occurs. It's fact. You can show it, but it doesn't prove anything either way. It's not a positive assertion about anything.
So what causes relative density disequilibrium?
Why? Why are you asking this question?
Because it's relevant to the whole investigation. There's a motion that happens. Listen,
what?
Motion requires a force.
Fascinating stuff. You're not getting the crux of my question, though. Why are we looking at this? For what purpose? What is it achieving? Is it proving that we're on a flat plane? What's it proving?
No.
What's it proving?
Well, it's not nothing to do with the proving a flat Earth or any of that. No.
And why are you here then? Do you not know what the show's about? Why are you doing this then? It seems folly. It seems like you're doing it for no reason. Because people have claimed something, get them to prove their claim. That's what you need to do.
This is an attempt for you just to try and put me down, Nathan, and try and get some one-upmanship.
No, I'm saying that you haven't justified to me what you're actually doing this for. You're saying your only justification so far is because people are saying stuff about relative density or gravity. And I've already said, as a rebuttal, get them to prove their claim. Beyond that, what are you claiming?
Well, let's just get to claims then, Nathan. You made a claim that...
I don't need to make a claim. I haven't come on your show to make a claim. You're here to make a claim, not me.
I'm here to ask you about your claims.
I don't have one. Moving on.
You claim that when an object's...
No, don't tell me what I claim.
You claim that...
Don't tell me what I claim. Are you dumb? Do you not understand what don't tell me what I claim? You're not me.
Well, I'm asking you...
Don't stutter either. You don't need to stutter when I give you a command. Don't tell me what I claim, Del. It's that simple. I'll claim what I claim. You need to claim what you're claiming. Clear?
This is Nathan's...
Don't stutter. Just make your claim. Don't make what I claim. Make your claim for you, not my claim for me. It's really easy. Now, you need to get to making your claim, not telling me what I claim. Is that understood or not?
Nathan wants to make claims and demand...
Are you going to tell me what I want now? Don't tell me what I want. Don't tell me what I claim. Don't divine my motivation here, Del. It's really simple. Don't put words in my mouth. You just need to claim what you're claiming. This is very basic stuff.
Finished.
I haven't started, I haven't made any claims. You're here to make a claim.
Objects fall towards the Earth because you pick them up and give them...
Helium balloons don't fall towards the Earth when you pick them up. That's absurd. Are you unaware of clouds?
Nathan, can...
Del, are you unaware of clouds? I've just contradicted your claim.
Can you...
Don't ask me, stuttery Simon. Just answer my question. You said things fall to the ground. They don't. Clouds. That got your
Things
tongue?
go up, things go down.
So, contradicting your statement that things go down already then, so you're wrong already.
No.
Yeah, you said things go down, I said clouds, now you're saying some things go up, some things go down. Contradicting your original claim. So, what is your claim again, Del?
You absolute weak gimp.
Sorry, are you calling me a gimp while I point out that your claim has just been contradicted by your own assertion that some things go up?
Everybody can hear you, Nathan.
Yes, they can hear me humiliating you because you've got a non-claim when you contradict it by pointing out that things go up, as you have just affirmed.
Things go up, things go down.
Yes, so we don't need to worry about why things go down when some things go up then, do we?
Because I think that you're just misrepresenting.
Sorry, you're going to tell me what I think again? Did you not understand my commands there, Jimmy? Don't tell me what I think. Make your nonsensical claim about things going down for me to point out clouds, and then we'll move on. That's where we're at.
Things go up, things go down. I never make the claim that...
So what are we proving here? Some things go up, some things go down. Meanwhile, Earth's flat, Del. Who cares? That's right. So I'll prove Earth's flat. You worry about this nonsense, because it doesn't prove anything, mate. Yeah, you stuttery Simon. You're poisoning people with your nonsense about all things going down. Do you not understand that there's clouds? You haven't answered.
I never said everything goes down.
So what are you proving?
What do you mean what am I proving? I'm proving that you're an absolute incompetent...
Sorry, you don't need to insult me when I ask about your claim that you haven't made yet.
I'm here to fucking...
You're here to stutter and swear, Jimmy. Now make your claim.
My claim is that Nathan's a liar.
Oh, well, I'll just mute you while you decide to ad hom me because you haven't even got a claim by the sounds of things. Del doesn't even have a claim. Doesn't even have a positive assertion to make by the looks of things.
This is exactly when he came with the apologetics. I didn't say anything.
Forget that.
Guys,
Forget that.
Del is on the mic. We are yet to hear his claim. We don't need a colour commentary.
The motion of density, that being up and down, where dense objects go down and less dense materials go upwards, requires a mechanism. That's my claim.
Relative density.
Right, why?
So
that's fascinating. Proving what? That's your claim? That's really interesting.
Here's the thing. Oh, my bad. Am I not finished speaking? My bad.
Well, I'm asking you why you're telling us that. What does that prove?
See, the thing is, stupidly, I thought there would be an opportunity for an actual discussion here. But I knew you would be that weak and triggered, Nathan, that you would have to...
Okay, he's going to insult me again. He said some things go up, some things down. There's a mechanism for that, what I've just described. Okay, I'm now asking in response, what the hell does that prove? Response from Del, a load of string of insults. What does that prove? Try again.
What do you mean, what does that prove? I'm trying to have a discussion.
So what does this prove?
What do you mean, what does it prove?
I mean, why should this hold any interest for me whatsoever? My bad, am I talking, Jimmy? Yeah, that's me in the middle of a sentence there, Jimmy, while you talk straight through me, Jimmy.
And make demands.
Yeah, that means shut up. I'm asking you what this proves. Third time's a charm. And you're just yabbering through me. Can't seem to hold your tongue while I repeat for the fourth time. What does this prove?
It proves that you're a lying piece of shit.
So he can't actually tell you what it proves, gentlemen. Not so confident about his upward moving Earth after all. You'd think it would be proving something to do with his bullshit claim that Earth moves up. Outrageous nonsense that he spews. But instead it just proves Nathan's stupid. Wow.
That's why your apologies ain't worth shit, Dale.
Yeah, you're very confident about your upward moving Earth. So some things go down, some things go up. You're making a claim that there's a, mechanism involved. That's a far cry from proving Earth moves up, Dal. You're not seeing the detachment from your nonsense that doesn't prove anything to your outrageous claim that you don't seem to want to make. You just want to tell people I'm silly on my own show. Yeah, you can try that, sunshine. It just won't work here. I'll point out how silly you are, because Earth doesn't need to go up to counteract you down when clouds are going up. We've already covered this. But you don't seem to want to make your outrageous claim here. Just talk through me non-stop.
Fanny. You're a wee fanny, and I'm going to keep exposing you, son.
And you're not exposing anything except for your own idiocy here, Del.
potential energies. There's a positive claim from Nathan that nobody...
Sorry, did you think that you could just shout through me on this show, Dal? Is that how you think it works?
That's what you do, you fucking wank.
Okay,
You're a mimic. You're nothing but a wee...
when you've got control of your anger issues, your emotional problems, and your daddy issues, we'll have a little conversation about what this proves when I get to ask you for a fourth time.
Can you prove that objects...
Why am I proving anything? This isn't my claim, sunshine. Are you not getting the don't ask me about what I'm not claiming part? Are you thick? Do you not understand? I don't have to answer your questions here, Del. You're the one with an upward rising Earth. Get to proving it.
No, I'm not here to fucking defend anything like that.
Well, why are you here then? Get lost if you're not here to defend anything. You've come to me to prove your stupid upward rising Earth with there is a mechanism involved with relative density disequilibrium. How fascinating. You have a claim about there being a mechanism involved. Meanwhile, I'm under the misapprehension, clearly, that you were saying Earth was rising up.
Yep.
Well, then you're a clown, Dal. And I told you if you came here, I'd point that out to you. You're a clown. Earth's not moving up and having a claim about there being a mechanism.
It's fucking moving, yeah.
You wanted to talk through me while I humiliate you? Is that going to get around the embarrassment of me pointing out how stupid it is to have a claim about a mechanism and use that claim about a mechanism in relative density disequilibrium to claim that Earth's moving up? Stupid, Dal. Very silly.
All this does is show how incompetent you are and incapable.
So I would expect you to respond by proving Earth moves up to that. Not just start ad-homming me again. It's a pretty sad state of affairs.
Nathan.
That's my name, don't wear it out. I'm the one humiliating you, Del, that's right.
You're not humiliating Andy, son. You couldn't...
So, again, I would expect this to be the opportunity for you to prove your stupid nonsense about Earth moving up rather than talking about the host. You see, a confident man with a good claim that he can prove would be proving it over and over again, rather than attacking the host.
You capable of having a discussion or no?
Yeah, how do you think in your right mind that having a claim about there being a mechanism for relative density proves Earth's moving up?
If you can have a discussion, we would get...
I can, we were. I asked you a question and then you've repeated your statement about us not having a discussion. It seems like you don't have anything, Del.
Nathan, true science...
Yeah, that's my name. Don't tell me to prove anything. I'm not making a claim, Del. 5th time's a charm.
True science and...
No. You're claiming Earth moves up and you're asking me to prove something with science. I don't have a claim here, Del. You do. Clown.
Okay. Objects move because you give them potential energies, a claim.
And therefore Earth's moving up.
Can you...
Stutter for me, you stupid buffoon. That's right, Stammery Simon. Your absurd claims being pulled apart for how absurd it is here. That's right.
What's the energy?
So why are you asking me? Did I make a claim about energy? No, Mr. Earth's rising up, you stupid clown. Yep. You need to prove that stupid nonsense. I'm not making a claim for you to ask me any questions about. I nipped that in the bud immediately, didn't I, Dal?
Objects are given potential energy.
That's fascinating. Therefore, Earth's rising up.
Explain. Earth is in motion, you absolute ignorant fucking
Oh, so I need it swearing at me? That sounds almost as good as a proof. So just barking your baseless assertion at me isn't proof, Del. Especially when you swear, it just makes you seem weak.
Earth is in motion.
You keep barking it. Maybe if you keep jabbering it like a parrot, some of the idiots that don't realise you've got nothing to back this other than attacking the host.
Let me show you let me show you why. Earth is provably in motion. I can show you why. I've been silenced.
We're waiting for you to show us why. Are you dumb?
So,
is that a yes? I can show you why. Massive silence. Then, oh, there's a silence. Yeah, clown shoes. We're waiting for you to show us how.
So density gradients can be recreated utilising motion. Relative density disequilibrium was a claim that was made that explains...
Sorry, stuttery Simon, did you have to make it for the 5th time that I've made a claim when I've made it explicitly clear that I'm not?
Well, that's what I'm
do you need this false dichotomy to fight against, Del, when I've already nipped it in the bud immediately? You just need to stutter your way into this false dichotomy when I haven't allowed it, do you? Have you only got this little repertoire? Only a one-trick pony, only know how to fight this argument from the position of false dichotomy, Del, right? Hello, I am not making a claim for you to fight against here, Del. Hello? Do you need to clear your throat some more? You get that guitar out of your gob. You don't have a positive claim from me to put in false dichotomy, Del. Only your absurd nonsense that Earth's moving up. I'm not a glober with gravity, and I'm not making any positive claims. Relative density disequilibrium has no positive claim attached to it from me. It's just you who needs to prove your nonsense of Earth moving up.
Was I finished speaking? Sorry, I thought I was still speaking there when some wee idiotic...
I just think you're stammering and stuttering rather than proving Earth moves up.
Just because you're interrupting me every fucking 2 seconds, you fucking weak bastard. You're incapable of fucking discussion.
Sorry, you tell me I'm interrupting you after literally only 2.5 minutes ago asking about the stony silence when you didn't prove your nonsense, correct?
What nonsense, Nathan?
You saying we're not having a discussion when I ask you a question and you start swearing at me, or you saying that I keep interrupting you when you've just literally let a massive silence go by after declaring you can prove Earth moves up. Okay? Are we clear?
Are you finished?
Do you need another massive, long, protracted silence for you to get on with proving Earth moves up?
I'll just expose you fucking mind while you're just a...
That's excellent proof of Earth moving up. Dell's just exposed Nathan Oakley, who has taken away his false dichotomy argument, it seems. So he's got nothing. There's that long protracted silence again, ladies and gentlemen. Has he run away with his tail between his legs because he doesn't have a false dichotomy to argue against? It would appear so.
This is so obvious. It's like, Dale, you come in and say I can squat 700, and now you're saying Dale's telling everybody his claim is I can't squat 700.
No, it's not what's happening.
So you need to squat 700. Prove it. Squat it.
Out of interest, during that, just before. Hello, guys in G+.
I'm trying to give Dell a simple explanation.
We don't need it, D-Rose. What we need is for Dell to be able to make his
Give him
point.
the respect to speak, though, please.
Come on.
I agree. What about you? Let him, D-Rose, just make his point, not spoken. We're jumping on him. Just make the point, D-Rose.
D-Rose, you're going to have to discipline yourself in the G+ hangout, right? Let's just get what happened clear. I had to immediately close the line to G+ down because presumably D-Rose just rumpused every bit of the discussion, deciding he had points to make. Correct? I just had to close the line, G+. That meant that everybody in the panel suffered because I had to close that line because of you. So you couldn't take part in the discussion. Any of you. Fun? Can't do that, D-Rose. You can't just decide that you're going to open your mic and blart through a discussion between me and Dell. That's just not fair. There are appropriate moments, but as the new guy in that hangout, I don't expect the first time a guest comes on that's going to create a decent discussion for me to have to immediately close the line down and then have to tell you off on a live show for it. Come on. The whole panel are trying to tell you to stop talking through the discussion we were having, right? Correct?
Sort of.
Well, it has to be relevant.
Insert something, but yeah.
It has to be relevant. If you're going to say something, it has to be relevant.
Go on, Brian, sorry.
Can I say something? Look, Dale has come here to have the conversation, right? He's actually made a point of coming here. Now, I understand you and Dale may not get along, but he's made a point of coming here to have the conversation. So there's no point in anyone attacking him or personally or trying to slag him off for anything else. He's come here to have the conversation. Allow the man to have the conversation.
I did.
He's also a flat earther who's been around for years.
I did. You guys couldn't hear it if you were rumpused by D-Rose, so, you know, you'll have to go back and have a listen to the conversation we did have. But when Dell's asking me, after stating explicitly that he can prove his points, and then I close all lines so there is total silence and zero chance of any interruption, and then 5-10 seconds go by and he goes, so the silence then? What, after your statement that you could prove your nonsense? Yeah, that's right, Dell. You say you can prove stuff, then there's a long protracted silence. But according to the chat, I didn't let Dell talk. All right, I'll trim out Dell saying I can prove my nonsense, and then the massive protracted silence when no one interrupted him and he didn't prove it. Okay, chat?
That's not my point. My point is that the tone of the whole thing is not of a conversation. He came in to have a conversation, and that's not the tone of the thing.
Sorry,
the tone
why
of
are
the
you
thing
saying
is
this
a
to me?
battle.
No. No, what he came in and started doing was telling me what I was claiming, and I stopped him.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Nathan. Anyone's going to pre-assume that you claim that you make claims about relative density disequilibrium. Anyone's going to pre-assume that because the whole thing has been detailed on this show.
I don't care.
And Anthony Riley.
Don't care.
Yeah, but the point is they're going to pre-assume that.
You're saying I
That's
should
fair.
tolerate it for it to be a reasonable discussion where he doesn't immediately get narky with me because I say I'm not making that claim. Because I'm not making that claim. But he wants me to be making that claim, and for it to be a nice civil discussion, I should accept when he says I make that claim that he sets up that false dichotomy. Fuck that, Brian.
Yeah, I know, you're okay. I understand your point, and you can make that point. But the problem is that it became more of a battle than a conversation. You could have just as easily said to him, I'm actually not claiming anything about relative density.
I did.
You're here. Yeah, but Nathan, you turned it into a battle. It was not a conversation anymore.
Well, when he started saying that I was being exposed, when I asked him to prove that things go down or things don't all go down in his next statement, they sometimes go up. When I asked him to prove that that is linked to Earth moving up, he started saying that he was exposing me as a host. You think that was me disseminating the discussion by not being tolerable enough, correct?
No.
Yeah, he started it.
All your points were correct. One second, Howard. All your points I understood and were correct, right? It's just that it was becoming triggering. If I was on the other end of the line, I would have got triggered.
I understand. If you were talking total nonsense about Earth rising up and you had absolutely soddle proof other than to stack it up in false dichotomy, and I pointed that out to you, you too would get very cross very quickly, just like Dell did. I understand.
Yes, exactly. I would too. That's why I don't do that. I don't take the position that Dell takes. And I try to warn him about it many times, and he just doesn't listen.
Yeah, I said you'd come here and I'd laugh at you, Dell, for your stupid nonsense clown shoes assertions that Earth's moving up. And that's exactly what happened. Now, we on the panel can call it a battle, but let's not pretend what happened didn't happen the way it did. Which is that you came with a clown shoes assertion that Earth's moving up based on your positive claim that there's a mechanism involved in relative density disequilibrium. You see, that sounds like quite a long string of words for an assertion that you're apparently making that is not in any way linked to an outrageous assertion that Earth moves up. And when offered the opportunity, you left dead air and silence and questioned why there was nobody talking. Let's just be clear about what happened here, okay? Now I'm going to have another laugh at you for it, because it was utterly absurd. You in no way proved that Earth was moving up when you ad hommed me and told me that you were exposing me to my own audience. Okie dokie. That weren't proving Earth moves up, Dell. Yeah, it proved you're a clown and have nothing. Just as we all expected.
I understand all that. And I'm not saying any of your points were wrong. I understand also Dell's position. He's actually made a point of coming in here to a whole group of people, right? And Dell is normally an angry kind of a guy, but he kept it together pretty well. He kept calm pretty well. I thought he would have started losing the head with you earlier. Now, I understand what you were doing. I understand your points. I understand why you were doing what you were doing. But I would have gone about it in a different direction. I would have started asking him about what it is that he's claiming immediately.
Okay, well, we've got XB Backfire in the chat says, I just wanted to hear his claim, take it apart after. We did. I asked him multiple occasions to give me his claim specifically, and his claim was that there is a mechanism involved with relative density disequilibrium. Then I gave him another half a dozen opportunities to show how that claim proved something. He didn't give me anything when I asked him to specifically tie it to proof. And then I specifically gave him an opportunity to tie what he had claimed here to his proof that Earth moved up. And again, he didn't do that either. So he did make his claims. I really tried hard to get him to make them and dragged them out of him, whilst batting off him making claims for me. You know, I shut that crap down quickly and told him off for it. I really enjoyed doing it, Dal. Shutting you down, telling you off. It was good fun. Yeah? Yeah, you don't make claims on my behalf so that you can snap him up in false dichotomy. You just come with your claim, which I asked for 6 times, and then you have it ripped to shreds. And when your claim is there's a mechanism involved in relative density disequilibrium, therefore Earth's moving up, you're going to get laughed at. Now, if people don't catch what your claim is, maybe they're not catching me asking over and over again, what is your claim, really clearly? Maybe they didn't catch that because they're on Dell's side and think Earth's moving up. But for those of you who did catch me really clearly asking him what the hell you're claiming and what the hell it proves, they'll hear his responses. And no, he's got nothing but his stupid, baseless assertion that Earth moves up to stack up in false dichotomy with a claim he needs me or a glober to be making so he can fight amongst them. I didn't give him that opportunity, and as a result, he didn't know what the hell to do. He only knows that trick. He only knows how to present his argument stacked up in false dichotomy, and I know how he operates, so I took it off him immediately. No, Del, I'm not making a claim here for you to stack up in false dichotomy. Not that I said it in those terms, but I could have done. Because when he's in a position where he hasn't got an opponent's position to argue against, his position suddenly glares with stupidity, to the point where he has to tell my audience that he's exposing me, rather than proving his stupid claim that is not getting lost in the weeds of what I claim versus what he claims. Because when I take away what I claim, because I haven't bloody claimed anything, let's get that clear, he's only got his stupid baseless assertion to defend, and he didn't do well, did he?
I understood why you did what you did and the way you did what you did it. The tone of it was only going to trigger a situation with him. So I would have taken a different tone if I was taking that route. Right, that's right. But that's besides the point. You did what you did. It's your show, your choice, your life. But I don't think Dell is a dishonest person. I've listened to Dell on and off since I think 2015 is when I first came across him. That's 8 years ago. And I've heard him get angry on many, many occasions. And someone who is dishonest doesn't go around getting angry all the time. Well, I know this because I get angry. I might hide it more than Dell, but I get angry just as often. Because when you're dealing with a lot of dishonesty and from people that on the opposing side, and rubbish and schemes. Now, I don't think Dell has a scheme. I do know he's wrong in what he's claiming, but I don't think he has a scheme. He's also a flat earther, although now he's claiming it's rising up the way. He's still a flat earther. He's still been around for years, and he's not a dishonest person. If that was one of the ballers who were coming in with one of their little low-life schemes, that'd be different. Now, I understand he had a tactic, right? And his tactic was to say to you, well, this is your claim, this is my claim, and suddenly false dichotomy. Fair enough, I understand that, right?
Well, and that's not dishonest. All the stuff I've heard, I'd have to use the phrase, what I'm witnessing in all this community is certain people being very dishonest and disingenuous in how they deal with each other. I don't need to make a personal attack, but the way Dell's presenting himself is not honest. It's not truth-seeking, is it? It's trying to make his point at the cost of the truth. Yeah, I'm not interested in finding the truth. We listen to what's just gone off. Yeah, that was not in no way a truthful and non-deceptive bit of chat. It was highly deceitful, wasn't it? Trying to win your point. Doesn't really matter what the point is, as long as you can win. That's all we're pursuing. I'm getting sick of listening to this crap. These people demonstrate their motivations by the behaviour, as this afternoon, yeah? Dell, for whatever he's done in the past, respect. But what he's doing now, yeah, is what? Destroying all the work, the good work he's done, yeah? And making the movement look like a bunch of squabbling children that can't even hold a proper conversation. Listen to the way that descended. When Nathan was trying to keep it on track to actually discussing a point, what happened? That, to me, is deceptive.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, gifted memberships, and all that good stuff. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on an after show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a day! What a lovely day!